Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, disruptmeister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is July the 28th, 2024. Strong hand, long-term target. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. 1 day closer to an all-time high. I'm a little confused. I might have... This might be my second show, or I might have just done like a whole show without recording it, or most of a show without recording it. Oh my Lord. Unbelievable. Oh my God. Did I just do? Yeah. Oh my Lord. No, we weren't live. I did most of a show. Okay. Strong hand, long-term thing. Bitcoin's the next Bitcoin. Everybody, hello, my elite friends. I'm going to just try to run down all this stuff real quick. This is not going to be easy to do again. My Lord. How did I do that? All right, so let's start. We're 1 day closer to an all-time high, guys. So we're going to start off by talking about. I'm still like praying that another show. Unbelievable. No, this is the first show. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Hopefully I didn't erase anything here. Where are my notes? Sorry, guys. All right, so let's talk about the Trump Bitcoin speech and why it was the hidden message within the Trump Bitcoin speech. It was as if the Bitcoin magazine people like fed him the entire speech. He spoke at the Nashville Bitcoin conference. That's what this is in allusion to. And yeah, he said all the right things about Bitcoin. And one of basically that he was going to get out of the way. And that's all we can ask. The current administration, has not been very clear upon regulation and seemed like they want to get in the way. And he says he's just going to, he's going to have a Bitcoin reserve, and it's just everything. It was, and you could tell he didn't know everything that he was talking about. So I get whoever coached his team to tell him what to say. They did a good job. And linked to below is a Nick Carter tweet. And in it, he mentioned something that I was surprised about, the hidden message, and that was about the stable coins. And that Trump said that he thought stable coins were great, and that he would, he would get out of the way of the stable coins, and that it would make the dollar more powerful. And that is true because, if you don't try to regulate Tether, if you don't try to get in the way of Tether, they're going to buy up U.S. treasuries to back up the Tether, and they're also going to spread the dollar all over the world. And I know a lot of you don't like the dollar. A lot of you think Bitcoin is going to only do well if the dollar does bad, or if we have hyperinflation. But the dollar is the best of all the fiat freaks that are out there. And by the way, all my freaks that have sent me the we only need $10 more. Speaking about valuing your, I'm not a fiat freak. You could send me crypto, you send me Bitcoin, whatever. But we only need $10 more to get to another new One Bitcoin show. But if everybody is using U.S. dollars all over the world because of Tether being spread all over the world, this is good. It will get rid of authoritarian regimes faster, and to tell you the truth, it'll allow the U.S. to keep on printing money. And I know a lot of you don't like that, but it does. It keeps it going. It keeps everything going in this country. It keeps it keeps innovation going. There's a lot of things that it does do. Innovation. I do not like inflation because it is a tax. It definitely is a tax. But they're going to keep on printing money anyway, and it'll slow. If the dollar becomes more and more powerful, because of stable coins, then great. Whatever. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. So I was very surprised when Trump did say that. Everything else, I had a big smile on my face that he just was saying all the right things for Bitcoiners. The one thing that was kind of hilarious that he said was that there are other coins too, and they're great. And I thought people would start booing, but they were polite. So good job, guys. Pound that like button. You did a really good job there. Okay, so what I hope is that Trump does. I hope he wins. I hope he gets rid of all these ridiculous regulations, whether they be on or proposed ones, whether they be on cryptocurrency, AI, biotech. This is where all the innovation is coming from. The United States is the most innovative country in the world. Why handicap our country with regulations? And the one thing you could say about the previous Trump administration in various industries, be it oil and natural resources, I think that sticks out the most. He got rid of regulation, and that helps people. That helps small business. That helps everyone. If things cost less, it helps everyone. All right. So let the innovators innovate. He's going to get out of our way. That is great. Now, we're going to talk about cat ladies in a second, because they're the type of people that want to get in our way, that want to mind our business instead of worrying about themselves, that they want power over people that they don't even know. And they think that's what the government is for, taking away from people instead of letting people create on their own as individuals. But I want to get to my 333 thing. What's the 333 thing, Adam? 333 versus BRICS. What is that? Well, there's a lot of people out there, doomers, that think the BRICS are on the way up, and the United States and the Western world's on the way down. And I've said so many times, that's just crazy. It's crazy. And if you have to enter reality instead, and I understand why people put that in their titles and keep on talking about it, because the algorithm favors doom and it favors shock and all this, saying the dollar will remain strong. The United States is the most innovative country on earth and will remain the most powerful on earth. You do not want to live in a third world banana republic country. So many people in those countries want to move here to the West, to the United States. And yes, we have some cultural issues, but there are 50 states. Not all of them are the same. If you're in the United States, you're already in the best country possible. Move to the best state possible. And what was going on in France the other day with the Olympic ceremony, I have no idea what that has to do with sports. I don't know why. I don't know. Again, when I was a kid, I loved the Olympics, and it was really competition then. And cities wanted to win the Olympic. They wanted to host the Olympics. I think it all changed in the 2010s. I don't know. But now Salt Lake City just won the Winter Olympics for 2034. They were the only city competing. It's a pain in the tuchlis now. All the security, the protests, the this, that, and the other, and they care more about it's a soap opera for women now. It's not even about the competition. Some of the competitors aren't even men, or they're not even women, or sorry, they're not. The men are competing as women. And all sorts of weird things have happened through the years. So yeah, you could say, well, that's cultural rot of the West, Adam. Those people are still trying to move here, okay? And why is that? The 333. There are, in the United States of America, for years, people have owned 3 cars. It's more so now than ever before. And a lot of the times now, their third car is a electric vehicle. Now, an electric vehicle, sadly, the state of California wants to make everybody own an electric vehicle by 2035 or something like that. Only have electric. That's ridiculous. Because right now, it only makes sense to have an electric vehicle when it's your third vehicle, basically. Mom and dad, they need to have reliable cars that they don't need to charge, or that you can take on a road trip or whatever. I wouldn't drive with the EVs they have now. What's the point of going on a road trip from Salt Lake City to Las Vegas when you got to figure out find a station to charge it at? It takes longer to charge and to fuel up your regular car. But we do have plenty of people that are living this lifestyle. And then they have 3 weekend days a week. They only work 4 days a week, 3 weekend days a week. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. For all of you that are saying that we're going down, this didn't used to exist before 2020, 3 weekend days. You can tell on the internet, there's just not as many people on the internet on Fridays because people aren't working. They're not, quote unquote, working. When people work, they get on the internet and play so much of the day. And then the third 3 is I see a lot of people, they have 3 dogs. And you might, well, that's not that big of a deal, Adam. Well, it kind of is now, man. It costs, it's like feeding an extra person. Maybe not to that extreme. Well, maybe feeding. Dog food costs a lot. If you're going to do it healthy, it's a lot of time too. And you got dog sitters at this point. If you're ever going to go on vacation, it's pretty crazy. And to have 3 of them, I encourage people to have no dogs, no pets. It's really an anchor, man. It's really it can cost you a lot, man. And so, but in the West, there's certain people that have all three of the threes. They only work 4 days a week. They got 3 nice cars, one of which is an EV, which is ridiculous to have. It's expensive. And they got 3 dogs. And compare this to, some of these countries where they don't have they have to go go to the stream to go to the bathroom. They live in favelas. The private property rights are not exactly enforced. There are threats of land confiscation. Or the Chinese government, when they have an Olympics, they just confiscate everybody's land and build a stadium on top of it. That's it. That's the end. That's your property rights there. So whenever you start, you're down about the Western world, the United States of America, at least, think about the 333, baby. Think about the 333 and compare it to, what's really going on in those other countries. And also, people aren't trying to make stable coins based on the ruble or the rupee or the rand. I mean, as it is right now, with the United States has, attacked Tether, still like 99% of stable coins are valued in dollars. They list, there's euro ones too and stuff. And again, they to back up their stable coins. To back up their stable coins, they're buying U.S. treasuries and stuff, which is good for the United States of America. I think when they say the stable coins are like the 17th largest buyer of U.S. treasuries, larger than so many countries that are out there. And by the way, Trump, it would just not selling all the Bitcoin that the United States has gotten from criminals would be great. That alone would be great. It's, they're going to Vance Ginn says he doesn't like that the United States is going to go out of their way to buy Bitcoin. And he has a point there. He does have a point because there should be a separation of state and money. Bitcoin doesn't need the United States to do that. But if the United States already has Bitcoin, that at the very least should be their Bitcoin. They shouldn't be selling that anytime. Hold. Never sell your Bitcoin is what Trump said. And everyone, he got a big cheer out of that. All right. So what else do we have here? Cat ladies. Right? So people, it's clear the mainstream media is so against Republicans. It's crazy, speaking of people named Vance, Senator Vance from Ohio, J.D. Vance, it was named the vice president candidate under Trump. And they found a video from a few years ago where he talked about cat. A lot of voters are cat ladies. They don't get married. They become embittered. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not married. I'm not a lady though. And so, let people. People can do whatever they want to do. I think I have seen as I've gone on through life that a lot of women do become vindictive and angry when they don't have children. It's different. It's different for men, It's not the same attachment. When a woman has a child, they do change a lot. They're willing to do anything for that child, and they actually no longer love their husband as much a lot of the times. They wouldn't care what happens to their husband half the time, a lot of the time. But that's a completely different story. What we got here, and what the founding fathers were trying to avoid originally, they didn't want everybody to vote. Okay, they wanted people to vote that had a stake in the game. They wanted property owners to vote. All right. And I think that's I think that would be great. You had to be, have some skin in the game. Okay. Now there were other things that they didn't, certain women couldn't vote. And that wasn't, if a woman owns property, she should be able to vote. Obviously black people couldn't vote. And that was terrible. If a black person owns property, they should be able to vote. But bring it to the present now. We've got there's a lot of bitter cat ladies. They all vote. And they think by voting, that's going to get back at their bitter, that's going to somehow cure. Their scapegoat is Donald Trump or J.D. Vance or whoever. So it is amazing how the mainstream media tries to just, Kamala Harris, her policies, it shouldn't be what a lot of these cat ladies think is that we've got this central government that is all powerful and it should become more powerful and it should take away from people. And what Trump has said is like he just wants you to do what you're going to do, okay? He's not putting any now with the tariffs and stuff that's we get into, but in terms of Bitcoin, most of the time he wants to get rid of regulation, okay? Generally, what these cat ladies want and what Kamala Harris wants equal outcomes. That takes a lot of interference into society to make everything equal. Everyone's outcome equal is about taking away from people. It's about limiting people. And Trump isn't perfect on that, but it's far from perfect on that. But of the options that are out there, he's going to let, especially in our space, he's going to let our space. I mentioned, I'll say it again, biotech, AI, cryptocurrency. These are huge golden age, 2030s, late 2020s industries. And the United States is the most powerful in all these things right away. Why have a central government that's going to try to stop people? Now, if we get a central government that does the cat lady thing, that minds other people's businesses, that want to tear other people apart, then we have to go back to traditional federalism, and some of these states just have to nullify it. And they're like, we're not gonna enforce this. Now, another thing for the cat ladies to remember is if they have something they think Trump is limiting them on, then they should say to their state, nullify this, don't enforce this. And a lot of with the illegal immigration, that's exactly what's going on. If Trump says to California, you got to deport every illegal immigrant now, they're not going to do it. They're going to nullify that. And there's nothing that the United States government can do to the federal government that can stop them. Okay? And if you don't like that, then don't live in California. I don't know why anybody lives in California anyway. I mean, it's so expensive. It's just like, and with all those regulations, the cat ladies, they don't have any kids of their own, so they want to help all the victims of the world. Anything for the victim. And that's what wokeness is all about. For the good of the victim, for the good of the oppressed. And the oppressed is always right. The victim is always right, even though they're not really a victim or really oppressed most of the time. They want to be the mommies to these people because they're not mommies. And they're going to vote in policies that, unfortunately, cater to these people, take away from the productive. They don't care about productivity at all. They don't care about productivity at all. They care about revenge. Just think about those in terms of values, in terms of human values. Do you care about revenge or do you care about flourishing? And it's just scary. We've got so many people out there that just care about revenge. So I have no problem about calling out cat ladies or that J.D. Vance used that as a term because it's all a distraction from the world today. That there's those who want to stifle, and there are those who want everyone to be free and everyone to do their thing and to be productive. And in the two candidates that are out there, you could see who's going to at least give us some hope to be a little bit more free than we would be. And I think the cryptocurrency people should start trying to bribe Kamala right now. She could very much become president. We don't want an overreaching federal government. We don't want it to come to where we're going to have to all leave California and all, just do our thing in Wyoming. Okay? But if it comes to that, let's, be willing to do that. Be willing not to be a tree, okay? So All In Podcast, those are guys that are productive. They are billionaires. And I've been meaning to bring this up for a while. They had a show on. They don't usually do a live show, but they did have a show where it was live. All of a sudden, everybody starts sending them super chats. It was unbelievable. And they start saying, no, don't send us these things. We don't. Why are you giving us money? And they're begging the men that are giving them super chat, because it's mostly men that watch their show. They're begging them, don't send us this money. Stop sending us money. Chamath sounded embarrassed. And they kept sending them super chats. They kept sending three of the men are billionaires. They kept sending super chats. It was unbelievable. And then they finally had to say, okay, well, you can send them now, but we're just going to give them all to charity. And they had to do it. I mean, they couldn't accept it themselves. They're billionaires. I mean, they could, but I mean, it was just ridiculous. Like why? This is the abundance that we live in the West right now. And so why try to ruin this? Why try? And again, I think it's completely idiotic for men to start throwing money at other men who are saying, don't give us money. Hey, but hey, if you want to do your thing, do your thing. There shouldn't be a law against it. I shouldn't be, shouldn't be forcing them to do. If they, they shouldn't. I shouldn't say, well, since you did this, now you have to give it to me too. No, all right. Let people do stupid things if they want to do. I think that's a stupid thing. And we also have a thing here, so I just want to point that out in terms of abundance. And in a second, I'm going to give you, if you have an abundance, a charity that you can give to that I support here in Utah that indirectly supports cryptocurrency now. What was I just about to say about the all-in guys? There's no such thing as a good job. That's a new saying of mine. There's no such thing as a good job. Because at least in terms of, we have all these people, and J.D. Vance is guilty of this, but everybody's guilty of this. It seems like in politics, they want to bring good jobs to you. They want to. Well, what the fuck? What? The government shouldn't be defining what a good job is. You get into a really slippery slope there, don't you? I mean, some people want to work at McDonald's. They're very happy at McDonald's, and why try to say, well, that's a bad job. We're going to force them to pay you $20 an hour. And now it's a good job. But they're not hiring as many people. And the people who thought it was a good job at $10 an hour now can't get a job at all. So if some guy is promising to bring good jobs to your community, what does he really mean? Like, it's totally, it might not be a good job for you. Let nature take its course. Let's get rid of the regulations that say you can't pay somebody $10 an hour, or that you can't have this type of industry here. Okay, get rid of let the market. The less restrictions, the more jobs that are going to be there, the more productivity that's going to be there. Or maybe you won't have to work as much because other people will have created all these jobs that are providing so much more for you than you ever got beforehand. And that's another reason I bring up the 333 thing, is because of, even though we do live in a regulated environment in the United States, at least it's, the regulations that we do have haven't gotten so insane that it hasn't stifled technology. But I still think we could have even more amazing technology. And that technology that we have gotten in the last 30 years has given, 30 years ago, most people worked 5 days a week at least. All right. There wasn't this 4-day work week. Okay. And people didn't have, some people had 3 cars, but they didn't have like a luxury vehicle as their third car. An electric, there was no such thing as an electric vehicle then. And how many people had 3 dogs then that they took to PetSmart and gave them a gourmet pet food and stuff? All right. So instead of worrying about what a good job is, let there be less regulation and let the job makers make jobs, and you can take their jobs if you want to, or you can just, the jobs, what those jobs produce, you can live off of them and, get that stuff for cheap. So finally, let's talk about one donation site that's out there that I figured out help funds it's called every.org. And every.org is just, they want to be like the Google of charities, I believe. So they've set up for every 501c3 registered charity, they've set up a page. So you can look up your favorite charity and you can donate on their page to that charity. And then every.org has to figure out how to get that charity the money. And what basically happens is that then the charity takes over that every.org page so they can get the money that they wanted. And by the way, beforehand, I did mention that when I was talking about the stablecoin thing before, Nick Carter was the one that originated that stablecoin theory, and it's linked to below. So do click on that. And it was as if Trump was reading a Nick Carter tweet storm at times too. It was very strange, but it wasn't. I don't think he was. I think just the Bitcoin Magazine guys gave him some good lines to say. And so going back to the charity thing, every.org also accepts cryptocurrency of any type. So if you have some altcoin you want to just get rid of, you can. There's a way to just and all these sites that serve as third-party charity sites that involve cryptocurrency, they usually take like 4% or 3% cut. And it looks like every.org, under the right circumstances, well, they say it's 1%, but I think it might be like 0% under the right circumstances. So link to below is the every.org that I cite for the Utah Chabad, which I've supported over the time here. And they are trying to set up a full-time Chabad on campus at University of Utah. So if you click on that link below, and I did link to it below, you can send your excess cryptocurrency or your fiat through every.org, and it will really get to the Utah Chabad in here in Salt Lake City, Utah Chabad that I go to, and it will help set up the Chabad on campus at University of Utah, a proper one. They already have it, but they don't have a location. So that's what they're trying to do now. And if you go through every.org, that's who it's going to help. So I just found that, well, I bring this up just to give you a little bit of a hint what I want to do one day with my cryptocurrency. But also that every.org is, this wasn't tweeted out much when they made this announcement, like in 2021 or 2022. It seems like it's the best option if you've got a charity out there and they don't want it, the best charities out there, they would just accept the Bitcoin and then store it. But if they want to deal with cryptocurrency, but they just want the fiat right away, well, this is the best one to do it through because they're only taking a 1% cut at most instead of a 3% or 4%. So that is it for the show. I actually did 2 shows, but the first one didn't record, so it's really late, and so it doesn't look, I know a lot of you only want to see me in the light or whatever, so it got dark. Whatever. Thanks a lot, dudes. Spread the word, tweet it out, and pound that like button, everybody. And I hope this recorded properly. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.